Welcome to This Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to share this research with you today because, honestly, we're looking at a massive global health mystery. For decades, medicine has viewed the liver in one very specific, somewhat mechanical way, but recent breakthroughs have uncovered a hidden culprit behind liver disease, a secret wiring system that could change absolutely everything we know about how to heal the human body.
Okay, let's dive into this. 1.6 billion, just let that number sink in for a second, right? We are talking about 30% of the global adult population currently dealing with liver disease. It's an epidemic of staggering proportions, and it is growing every single year.
So the specific condition we're focusing on is MASLD, or metabolic dysfunction-associated steatotic liver disease. At its core, this is a diagnosis characterized by clinically significant lipid, or fat accumulation in the liver. Basically, it's fatty liver disease. Now, despite this affecting over 1 billion people worldwide, do you want to guess how many FDA-approved drugs there are to directly treat it? Zero. None. We've completely lacked targeted therapeutics. Which brings us to a really fascinating question. What if everything we know about treating liver disease is missing a crucial connection? See, for the longest time, medicine has viewed the liver as just, well, a sack of cells, a biochemical factory that just passively processes what we eat and drink. But by viewing it as this isolated organ, scientists have been completely missing its hidden wiring.
Section 1. The liver's hidden wiring.
All right, let's pull back the curtain here. The big twist of this research is that the liver isn't just some passive factory. It is a highly sensitive, smart organ. It's wired directly to the brain's central computer, the hypothalamus. And we basically have two dueling biological systems happening inside a healthy liver. On one side, you've got the sympathetic nervous system. This is driven by neurotransmitters like adrenaline and noradrenaline. It handles our fight-or-flight responses, and in the liver, it actually promotes fat storage. Then, on the exact opposite side, you have the parasympathetic nervous system. That one's driven by acetylcholine, and it handles rest, digest, and clearing out glucose. So these two systems are in this constant, really delicate push and pull just to keep us healthy.
You can kind of think of the liver as a modern smart home. It has these afferent nerves that act exactly like local metabolic sensors. They're constantly detecting the precise levels of fat and sugar floating around, and then they send that real-time data straight back up to the brain. This lets the central nervous system constantly tweak our metabolism to maintain perfect balance. But what happens when the smart home system gets completely overloaded?
Section 2. The Heats Hypothesis.
That exact question leads us to a major scientific breakthrough. When the liver is chronically overwhelmed by something like a modern high-fat diet, the HEAST hypothesis breaks down the structural collapse into 3 really devastating steps. Step 1 is hyperactivity. A high-fat diet massively overstimulates the liver's sympathetic nerves. The smart factory's wires literally start to overheat. Then comes step 2, excitotoxicity. This constant excessive stimulation causes the nerves to just burn out and die. We're talking about clinical neuropathy happening right inside the liver. And finally, step 3 is autonomic switching. As those sympathetic wires die off, the parasympathetic nerves frantically branch out, trying to compensate for the lost signals.
Now, what's really interesting is how we can track this exact destruction using gene expression. We can monitor the transition from a healthy liver, S0, straight through the stages of disease to S3. In early stage 1, there is a massive spike in the sympathetic marker tyrosine hydroxylase. That right there is the hyperactivity. But as the disease progresses to stage 3, that marker just plummets, and markers for excitotoxicity and neurodegeneration completely take over. The wiring is dying.
So the crucial point is this bizarre autonomic switching mix-up. I mean, you'd think the parasympathetic nerves growing in to save the day would help, right? But it's actually a tragic plot twist. When those parasympathetic wires frantically grow to manage the damage, they don't fix the liver at all. Instead, they overstimulate hepatic stellate cells. Those are the liver's scar-forming cells, which drives dangerous fibrotic scarring. Basically, the body's attempt to rewire itself actually destroys the organ.
Section 3. The Cancer Connection.
Sadly, this chaotic wiring doesn't just stop at scarring. Researchers have discovered that these broken nerves actively fuel hepatocellular carcinoma, which is liver cancer. And this brilliantly illustrates a really horrific synergy at play here. Both the sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves individually drive these pathologies. When they misfire, both norepinephrine and acetylcholine act as mitogens. Now, a mitogen is basically a substance that encourages cells to divide. So these malfunctioning nerves are actively whispering to harmful cells and eventually tumors, telling them to multiply rapidly.
The specific data points connecting this wiring to cancer are incredibly grim, but they're absolutely vital to understand. Patients with a higher neural fiber density in their tumors actually have lower tumor differentiation and a much poorer prognosis. When those sympathetic nerves malfunction, it increases hepatic oval cells, which are a type of liver stem cell, raising the risk of aggressive disease. And those neurotransmitters being leaked by damaged nerves, they actively drive the release of inflammatory cytokines, creating this highly toxic environment where cancer just thrives.
Section 4. Rewiring for a cure.
Because we now know liver disease is heavily driven by a misfunctioning nervous system, and massive door opens up for us. Cheap, widely available, and thoroughly tested blood pressure medications could literally be the key. Take prazosin, which is a traditional alpha blocker used for blood pressure. It's been shown in models to reduce liver cancer induction by a staggering 40%. And propranolol, a really common beta blocker, has been shown to reverse lipid accumulation and actually improve liver function. We are talking about everyday pills acting as a reset switch for the liver's broken wiring.
I really want to highlight this quote directly from the researchers because it emphasizes the groundbreaking hope here. Utilization of drugs such as these that have already been proven to be safe presents a viable option for improving liver disease treatment, especially considering the lack of therapeutics that target liver fibrosis. This research is literally bridging the gap between brain medicine and liver pathology to give hope to 1.6 billion people.
Which leaves us with this final, absolutely staggering thought. Could the cure for a global liver epidemic already be sitting in our medicine cabinets? The potential of the nervous system to unlock liver health is just breathtaking, and we are at the very beginning of understanding this hidden wiring. I really hope this explainer sparked your curiosity and gave you a totally new way to look at how our bodies are connected. Keep questioning, keep learning, and thank you so much for joining me today.